Alright, what's up guys? Today is December 30th, 2025. It is officially New Year's Eve. And today we're going to be doing part 2 of the video series of checking out the behind the scenes setup in Times Square for New Year's Rockin' Eve. But before we do that, I do have an announcement to make. This year is going to be the first year ever that they're going to be doing something a little bit different in Times Square for the celebration. Of course, they're going to have the ball drop starting at midnight. However, at 12:04 a.m., they're going to be doing another celebration in Times Square for the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. The brand new Times Square Ball is going to be lit up in red, white, and blue, and they're going to be dropping 2,000 pounds of red, white, and blue confetti. So there's going to be a pretty significant show going on in Times Square. And on today's video, we're going to be exploring the setup of the historic event. So let's get started. We're in Grand Central Terminal right now, and it is extremely busy. It seems as if it's a little bit busier than it was on the day before Thanksgiving, or even the day before Christmas Eve. There's a lot of people still in the city. And I have a feeling I won't even be able to get that close to the main stage, but we'll see. Yesterday they already had 2 of the 3 stages built, I should say, maybe 1.5 of 2. It's also set to be an extremely, extremely cold New Year's Eve. Currently the temperature is about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, but with the wind chill it feels about 24 degrees, and the wind is really, really howling. I don't know how people are going to be able to stand out in this tomorrow. Let me put up my hood. I just left the office and I made sure I brought 2 jackets to work today. That's how cutting the wind is. We're now going to exit to the right, and we're going to find ourselves on 42nd Street. Ooh, you could already, you get hit with that wind right as you get out. This is now 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue. Right outside the main plaza by 1 Vanderbilt. And we'll take a quick look up, just because this is about to go away after the holidays. That is the spire of 270 Park Avenue. As you know, that is the new office tower for JP Morgan Chase. Of course, you also see the MetLife building in addition to that. One of my favorite shots of the Chrysler building is going to be from right here. It's a beautiful, beautiful view. And we got to take advantage of it because, unfortunately, they have major construction project that's going to take place here in 2026. So as we're standing on the corner of 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue, you get this really gorgeous shot of the Chrysler building with the moon right there. However, they're going to be taking down the Hyatt Hotel, or I should say the Grand Hyatt Hotel, that sits right on Lexington Avenue. And when that comes down, there's going to be a brand new, super tall, Class A office building that is unfortunately going to obstruct the view of the Chrysler building from 42nd Street. Similar to how this year we were covering that new development at 262 Fifth Avenue. In 2023 and part of 2024, we were able to get some really good shots of the Empire State Building in front of the Flatiron Building before that iconic view went away forever. And we have all those archived videos up on the internet. So hopefully we'll have a few more videos with that iconic view of the Chrysler Building before that goes away. Now the project at 262 Fifth Avenue is a residential project that only has 26 apartment homes. They're ultra luxury apartment homes. And that caused a lot of controversy in New York City because, you know, that view, if you're standing right at 23rd Street, adjacent Madison Square Park, that was an unbelievable shot of the Empire State Building. A lot of people enjoyed that, and now it has been ruined by that new building that's only going to house about 26 families. So again, that's looking at the Chrysler, and then this is looking up at One Vanderbilt. Of course, One Vanderbilt houses that observation deck of Summit. I just love this shot looking at Grand Central Terminal, Pershing Square. It's an iconic shot in New York. We got 4 seconds, so I think we'll try to make our way across. We're going to be seeing the Stephen Schwarzman Building, and we're also going to be seeing Bryant Park. Speaking of the library and books, we are coming up to 2026, and a few days before the new year, I always read a handful of books that have really helped me throughout the year kind of stay focused and rooted for success. One of which is called Atomic Habits. I try to read that a few days before the new year. I just started it. I should be able to finish it by tomorrow, but I always try to read that book ever since it came out. As a person in the investment business, I really, really believe in the power of compounding. But not only compound interest, compounding can take many forms in your life. And if you feel like you're not making much progress, I wouldn't focus on a goal. I would focus on building a systematic framework and a systematic process. Because goals can kind of freak you out. Right? If you make a goal, you want to make this much money or you want to lose this much weight, that could feel rather intimidating. However, if you kind of do a post-analysis and deconstruct, other people's success, and you make a framework of what they've done, what are those activities? What are those daily activities you need to do that will give you a high probability of an outcome? Then you just have to focus on doing those activities. And if you relentlessly work that system, work that framework every day, your probability of success is going to be high. Now this building right here is 520 Fifth Avenue. That's a beautiful new luxury condo complex. But in any event, Atomic Habits is kind of a book about, building a structured framework and doing those activities within that framework every single day over the course of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Right, and before you know it, if you just relentlessly work that system, sooner or later you'll get the results that you want. Seems like a lot of people headed to Times Square tonight. We're now passing the Stephen Schwarzman Building. But in any event, kind of That's what's really helped me in the investment business, is just doing the same thing every day, religiously and relentlessly. You know, don't worry about making X amount of dollars or X amount of return. You know, what are the activities that you could do every day that if you do that, you'll end up with those results, right? And just work that framework every day and don't deviate from that process. This is now the Stephen Schwarzman building. New York Public Library. It's beautiful. One of the things that I'd suggest that you do is go inside the New York Public Library and go to the museum that they have on the ground floor now. Tons of amazing documents of American history there. We're now approaching Bryant Park Winter Village, as well as the SUNY School of Optometry. I believe the Winter Village at Bryant Park is going to run all the way until March 1st. So still plenty of time if you haven't had a chance to come and enjoy it. Perhaps after the new year, a lot of the tourist activity will die down a bit, and you'll be able to really enjoy the Winter Village without all the crowds. There is a public restroom though at Bryant Park, and it's right here. This one is very famous. They put about a little over $1 million into renovating this bathroom. They have bathroom attendants there. It's extremely clean, but the lines are always really, really long. I would always suggest going into the new Grand Central Madison. A lot of people don't know this, but if you go into Grand Central Terminal, you go all the way down to the food course concourse and then take the escalator to the lower level, you will have entered the brand new Grand Central Madison, which is pretty much empty almost all the time. And that is where you would get the Long Island Railroad, so the East Side Access Project. And there's multiple public restrooms in there that are open 24 hours a day that nobody uses, and it's extremely clean down there. I think the reason for that is because it's difficult to get down there, and the only reason why someone would go down there is if they have to take the train to Long Island, which is not a whole lot of people in the grand scheme of things. This is now the Bryant Park subway station, where you can get the B, D, F, M, and 7 trains. We do have a piece of New York history that is being made today. December 30th, 2025 is the last day you'll be able to use your original Metro card as payment for the subway. It is officially retiring, which is pretty crazy. I've been using a Metro card since I was a little kid. But now it is only Apple Pay and the Omni system. It's quite remarkable to see how things have evolved and progressed over the years, going all the way back to when the subway used to cost a nickel, and those subway tokens, then to the Metro card, now to Apple Pay and Omni. It's much more efficient though, just to pay with your phone, tap to pay, or one of those easy tap to pay Omni cards as opposed to swiping it. All right, we are now at the intersection of 42nd Street and 6th, or Avenue of the Americas. We're right now looking at Bank of America Tower. The CEO of Bank of America is Brian Moynihan. And adjacent Bank of America Tower, you have Salesforce Tower, where the CEO and co-founder is Mark Benioff. Which, by the way, is a little piece of New York City real estate breaking news. Salesforce has opted to expand their space at Salesforce Tower. I think they're going to expand over 100,000 additional square feet in this building. As we continue to walk westbound on 42nd Street, we'll run right into One Times Square. That is the building where they're going to be dropping the ball from. And they've recently finished a multi-year renovation on that building, where they've turned it into an observation deck and a museum. Here's the main entrance at Bank of America Tower here. Maybe we'll quickly take a look at the Empire State Building here, as it's lit up for the holidays, which is good. I think they just blare that music way too loud. They gotta turn it down just a little bit at least. And we'll also come up right on the NASDAQ. Speaking of the NASDAQ, this year in the markets has really been quite remarkable. Almost double-digit returns across the board on all the major equity indices. It's been a really, really good year in equities. Now globally, the top-performing equity indice, or the market, is actually Israeli stocks. Have performed exceptionally well. Also, the Japanese Nikkei index did really, really well, as we've talked about, in addition to the Korean Kospi. You know, let's take a little bit of a shortcut, as this will get us there a bit quicker. We're going to make a right here, and this will allow us to get a little bit closer to the stage. You'll also be able to see the United States national debt clock. Quickly check in on what that's looking like, as I assume it's not looking too hot. Oof. Let's see. All right, 38 trillion. 457 billion, 650 million, 196,568 dollars is our national debt, and your family's share is about 912,709. I think they may need to get a new clock like right now, because this may hit $1 million. Yeah. Well, they need to get a new clock. Anyway. Oh, this is cool, guys. This is exciting. If you look at the building right here, you can start to see some of the lights reflecting off the building. That is from all of the new floodlights that have been set up in Times Square for the New Year's Rockin' Eve. And again, this is going to be the first year where they're using that new ball. So obviously the ball is going to drop at midnight, but then again, on New Year's Eve at 12:04 a.m. there's going to be yet another celebration. There's going to be 2,000 pounds of additional confetti that floods Times Square in red, white, and blue for the 250th anniversary of the greatest country on earth, the United States of America. All right, here we have the newsroom at NASDAQ. And here is the setup. Here's one Times Square. This building is where they're going to be dropping the ball. You can see the 2026 numerals lit up right here. I wonder what this is. They never had this last year. Well, it's definitely a lot more than last night. Looks like you have some news cameras set up here. And then this big jumbotron right here. They've definitely closed a lot more off. I remember last year we saw them doing the rehearsal right over here. Yeah, I'm curious about what they're doing with this jumbotron. It doesn't say anything right now, but make our way over to the left. Curious to see that last stage, if that's been built out yet. When we were here yesterday, it looks like they were building the second part of it. Of course, all the Planet Fitness logos are everywhere. This looks like one of those big camera booms. where they have an operator right here and then a huge HD camera on the end. You can even see some people in the tent. They're probably doing some testing throughout the night, but you can see they're freezing in there. Look at all the heat warmers that they have installed. And then these are the lights right here. Those are those lights that reflect all over Times Square. You can see them here. Here we have a good shot of the numerals. You can see the 2026 numerals here.
No, it's not the top. That's it? No.
Acho que bem aqui.
I think this is going to be one of the stages where Ryan Seacrest does his thing. I believe this is where we saw him last year.
You guys want a picture?
I remember this from last year. It looks a little different. They have the Kia vehicle setup. As of course, Kia is one of the main sponsors for the event. Look at that. This is a pretty cool shot. And you can see it gets really busy the further you get up towards that main stage. And it looks like the main stage is now built. So we'll check that out. Maybe we'll check this section out over here by this big gorilla. Ooh. You'll be able to see the branded logos on the side of the Kia for the 2026 Times Square. This is the all-new Telluride X Pro. I'm assuming this is an EV, right? It looks really good. I like the body style on it. I also like how the, what is it called? The door handles kind of seamlessly go into the vehicle. It's similar to a Lucid or a Tesla, if anybody's ever been in Lucid or Tesla. Here you can see more of the cameras. There's a big HD camera that guy's operating on that huge boom. It looks like we're going to see the ball come up here in real time. Let me zoom in. You can see the 2026 and they're doing some testing on it. Usually they raise it and lower it throughout the day. All right, let's go ahead and continue on forward. We'll try to brave these crowds right here. And we'll check out the two main stages where they're going to be doing the musical performances. Wow, look at this.
Because I'm not on any of the big schedules. Alright, that's all. You're going. Yeah, I can shoot crowds. They can take me around. What time do you have to get here?
That's cool. He says his job is just to film the crowds. I really like the setup he has.
Probably be, we're going to be working till like 5.
Oh wow, and you can even see the other presenter on the other stage too.
We have two gyms. So there's a gym, if you look, that Coca-Cola, above the Coca-Cola sign. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Last year, or no, like 2 or 3 years ago, he was shot the ball. The last like 30 years. Yeah, so the ball comes down the last 10 seconds. Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty good shot. For like the last like 25 years. Oh, no way.
Wow.
Is that your goal to get up there?
I'm gonna be down. It's too cold up there. Oh, I bet. Jeez,
Where do you shot the ball from up there?
So, if you look at the Radisson Hotel, which has all the billboards, if you look up by...
All right, let's see some more. See, in my opinion, since there's so many people here, they really should close down 7th Avenue to vehicles. I don't see why there's any reason to have cars coming through here the day before New Year's Eve, in my view. Here you can see more of the audio equipment. They definitely work fast because they've been a lot of changes since we've been here yesterday. If they made this open streets before New Year's Eve, look at how cool that would be. Hopefully the new mayor does that next year. What do you guys think? How cool would that be to have a Times Square open streets before New Year's Eve? I mean, to me, it would make sense. There's just too much clutter, too many crowds through here. Okay, let's now make our way over to the main stage. This is now 45th Street and 7th Avenue. Wow, it is so busy over here. So here you can see some of the big trailers.
Can't move here either. Look down, look on the floor over there. Melissa.
I'm trying to think of what we should do. Maybe we'll just brave the crowds.
Hello everyone in Times Square and around the world. I am Bruno Serna from Telemundo Network, home of the FIFA World Cup in Spanish in the U.S. and Puerto Rico. Saludos a todos los televidentes que se unen a nuestra comunidad global desde esta plataforma principal para recibir el 2026. Este será el año del mundial más grande en la historia. Millions around the world will unite in the ultimate journey for this trophy. Esta noche tan especial estamos junto al símbolo más poderoso del fútbol, el trofeo de la Copa Mundial.
Okay, here is the first stage. And I believe they're doing some sort of testing for Telemundo TV. It says Planet Fitness, New Year's Eve, Times Square 2026. Tons of equipment for the setup.
Alemania, Italia,
Coming ready for the NYC, baby! Ready! We are ready! Let's get it started! Hey, I'm right here, baby! The big NYC! How you doing? NYC! Whoa! NYC! 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 NYC!
Está desacatado, hoy están pasando muchas cosas aquí, esto es impresionante. Esto es picante, vamos a dejar un poquito como allá también.
This looks like some musical group on stage, doesn't it?
Mucha adrenalina aquí.
Looks like somebody's performing up there, rehearsing, I should say.
dat moet niet wel dingen gaan.
Okay, let's push our way to the second stage. As they definitely have more screens up than yesterday. Oh, look at the crowds here. Alright, here's one of the main stages. Yeah, none of this was set up yesterday. You can kind of see them working all of the cameras in the back.
So they present the tickets over there to intellect. So you guys can, yes.
I think they're closing down this street now.
Creo que no.
Here's all the Planet Fitness insignia. There's another one of those big cameras. That looks like somebody rehearsing here. This is a better angle at the stage. Somebody's up there performing. how windy it is by looking at the American flag up there. It's actually not as crazy as I would have expected it to be right now. I think as the night grows longer, there'll be more people checking it out. But it's cool to see. It really, really is unique to see. This is now 47th Street. This guy has been out here boxing since yesterday. We got him on the video yesterday.
Can't wear a logo and blah blah blah. Or in stock photos.
Way to enter.
I tried.
How many?
It gets crowded pretty fast.
He said they're going to start letting people in at 5 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Eve. I don't know if I could ever do that. Wait from 5 a.m.
6 Avenue for 8 Avenue. Qué rico ver
Cross over to 7th Avenue. I think the crowds are a little bit lighter tonight just because it's so cold out and it's so windy. Again, it's 30 degrees, but it feels like 24 with the wind chill right now.
Yeah, baby. We're going to
Looks like the NYPD already has a little bit of 7th Avenue closed off.
You know, the bike lane with that.
Here you can see a little bit better view of the stage. I don't know, it seems like the insignia, the logos, don't look as bright as last year. I don't know, maybe if that's just me. cross over to the right, we'll have a really good shot of the stage at 46th Street.
Not cross this way. There's nothing over here on this side, folks. There's nothing over here. Bananas. Folks, off the street, folks. Always standing on the street. This is not a sidewalk. Everybody on the sidewalk.
All right, let's cross back over to the left. All right, everyone, if you enjoyed that behind-the-scenes look for New Year's Eve, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and as always, we will see you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year.